What is a primary benefit of penetration testing for clients? B. Identifying and mitigating security vulnerabilities. Which step is typically the first in a penetration testing process? B. Reconnaissance. What is the main difference between infrastructure testing and application testing in penetration testing? C. Infrastructure testing targets underlying systems, while application testing focuses on software applications. What does black box testing mean? B. The system is tested without any prior knowledge. Why is project closure important in penetration testing? C. To finalize documentation and provide recommendations. What is the purpose of white box testing in penetration testing? D. To test the system with full internal knowledge. Which of these is not a phase of penetration testing? C. Maintenance. How does penetration testing help ensure legal compliance? C. By identifying regulatory non-compliance issues. What is a key outcome of the debriefing stage in penetration testing? C. Understanding the impact of findings. In penetration testing, what is the main purpose of conducting risk analysis? B. To identify potential threats and vulnerabilities. What does the Computer Misuse Act 1990 primarily address? B. Unauthorized access to computer material. Under the Human Rights Act 1998, which of these is most relevant to penetration testing? C. Right to respect for private and family life. The Data Protection Act 1998 regulates C. The processing of personal data. The Police and Justice Act 2006 is significant for penetration testers because it B. Amends the Computer Misuse Act 1990. When conducting penetration testing, compliance with the Data Protection Act 1998 ensures C. Legal adherence in handling personal data. A key impact of the Computer Misuse Act 1990 on penetration testing is B. Necessitating authorized access for testing. Which legislation particularly emphasizes the protection of personal data during penetration testing? C. Data Protection Act 1998. Sector-specific regulatory issues in penetration testing often involve B. Specific industry compliance standards. How does the Human Rights Act 1998 impact penetration testing activities? C. By ensuring respect for privacy and correspondence. Compliance with the Police and Justice Act 2006 in penetration testing primarily ensures B. Adherence to updated legal provisions on computer misuse. What is the primary purpose of understanding client requirements in a security assessment? B. Tailoring the assessment to address specific security concerns. What is a key factor in scoping a project to fulfill client requirements? D. All of the above. Which aspect is crucial for accurate timescale scoping? D. Historical data from similar projects. What is a primary goal in resource planning for a security assessment? B. Ensuring the availability of specialized resources. How does understanding client requirements benefit the security assessment process? C. By facilitating a more targeted and efficient approach. When scoping a project, why is it important to consider the client's industry? D. All of the above. What role does accurate timescale scoping play in a security project? C. It builds client trust through reliable planning. In resource planning, what should be the focus while selecting team members for a security project? C. The specific skills and experience of team members. Why is it important to have a clear understanding of the client's current security posture? B. To provide a baseline for improvement. What is the impact of not accurately scoping the timescale of a security project? D. All of the above. What is a potential risk of penetration testing in a production environment? B. Unintended data loss. How can a penetration tester mitigate the risk of causing a denial of service condition? B. By limiting the scope of the test. What level of risk does a penetration test pose to system stability? C. High. What is the usual outcome when risks associated with penetration testing materialize? B. Network downtime. Which of the following is a key step in planning for potential dose conditions during a penetration test? C. Preparing mitigation strategies. What additional risk does penetration testing present compared to other security assessments? B. Real-time system disruptions. In penetration testing, how is the risk of data corruption typically mitigated? C. By testing on isolated copies of the system. What is a common outcome when a penetration test is not properly scoped? C. Overextension of resources. What is the best practice to prevent DOS conditions during penetration testing? C. Coordinating with system administrators. What risk level is associated with penetration testing in terms of compliance and legal issues? B. Moderate. What is the primary purpose of accurate and structured record keeping during a security engagement? B. Providing evidence for compliance audits. Which of the following best describe the importance of detailed reporting in security assessments? A. To provide actionable insights. What is a key benefit of maintaining structured records during a security engagement? B. Assisting in future risk assessments. How does accurate reporting contribute to the success of a security engagement? C. By facilitating client understanding. What role does structured record keeping play in legal compliance during a security assessment? C. Provides audit trails. In the context of reporting requirements, what is the primary goal of a security analyst? C. To enable clear client decisions. How does structured record keeping during a security engagement benefit future engagements with the same client? B. Provides historical context. What is an essential aspect of reporting in security assessments to maintain client trust? C. Transparency and accuracy. Why is accurate record keeping critical during a security engagement from a project management perspective? D. It tracks project milestones. In preparing a final report for a security assessment, what is a key consideration for a security analyst? B. Ensuring readability for a non-technical audience. What is the primary difference between IP and IP? B. IP provides more address space. Which of the following is a characteristic of TSP? C. Ordered data transmission. What purpose does ICMP serve in networking? C. Facilitating error and diagnostic functions. How does UTP differ from TSP? C. ODB provides faster, less reliable communication. What is the main function of IP? C. Internet addressing and routing. Which protocol is best suited for real-time applications, such as streaming or gaming? C. OTP. In which scenario is ICMB most useful? C. Diagnosing network connectivity issues. What is a limitation of IP addresses? C. Address space limitations. Which protocol is used to establish a connection before data transmission? D. TISP. Aside from ASMP, ESP, and ULP, what other protocol should security analysts be aware of? C. ACMP. Which protocol typically uses port 21? B. FIPI. What is the main use of port 53? A. Domain name system DNS. Which port is commonly used by SIMCV? C. 25. Port 443 is known for which of the following protocols? And TIPS. What is the primary function of port 110? B. Post Office Protocol version 3. Which protocol typically uses port 67 and 68 for its operation? ABTSP. Port 22 is associated with which protocol? B. THS. What is the primary use of port 139? A. NetBIOS session services. What role does port 162 play in network communication? C. Simple Network Management Protocol. Which of the following is true about port 443? C. It's used for secure TIPS traffic. Which of the following network types uses a star topology? B. Bassett. What is the primary security concern with shared media environments? C. Eavesdropping. Which network type operates at the physical layer and uses a ring topology? C. Token ring. In a switched media network, how is data typically transmitted between devices? C. Directly between specific devices. What frequency band does wireless 802 operate in? I. 24 GHz. Which of the following is a characteristic of LANs? B. Logical segmentation of networks. What is the maximum transmission speed for Cat5 cable? C. 1 PbEs. In a token ring network, how is data transmitted? C. By passing a token around the ring. What security benefit does a switched network offer over a shared media network? C. Reduced risk of eavesdropping. Which of the following is not a characteristic of fiber optic cables? C. Use of electrical signals. What is the primary security risk of Cat5 cabling in a penetration test scenario? C. Physical cable tapping. Which network type is inherently most secure against external eavesdropping? C. Fiber. In a Urbacid network, what security concern is primarily associated with switches? Add ARP poisoning. What is the main vulnerability of a network using token ring topology in the context of security? A. Token theft or duplication. How does using VLANs improve network security? B. By segmenting network traffic. What is a primary security concern with wireless 802.11 networks during penetration testing? B. Unauthorized access due to weak encryption. In a network using shared media, like an older Ethernet hub, what is a major security concern? D. Packet sniffing. What security issue is predominantly associated with Urbacid networks using unshielded twisted pair UP cables? B. Eavesdropping through electromagnetic interference. In VLANs, what security practice is crucial to prevent VLAN hopping attacks? A. Disabling unused ports. During a penetration test, what is a specific concern when testing a network with fiber optic cables? C. Difficulty in interception without detection. When using a tool like MUP for network sweeping, which option is used to perform a ping scan to prioritize live targets? ALITSP. During route mapping, which till time to live value is indicative of a Windows-based system? B. 128. In network analysis, what does a traceroute tool primarily reveal? C. Path packets take to a target. What is a common reason for false negatives in network sweeping? B. Firewalls filtering out pings. Which protocol is more reliable for identifying live hosts during network sweeping, ISP or ITMP? ANTSP. In network route analysis, what does a consistently high response time from a hop indicate? B. Network congestion. When analysing traceroute output, what does a asterisk signify? C. No response received. Why is it important to perform network sweeping at different times of day? C. Network traffic varies throughout the day. What kind of information can values in a traceroute output provide about the target network? B. Operating system types. Which technique in network sweeping can reduce the risk of false negatives? C. Combining different scanning methods. When conducting route mapping for a target network, which tool is typically used to identify the paths packets take in the network? C. Trace a route. What is a potential disadvantage of using ICM Echo for network sweeping? C. Blocked by firewalls. Which technique is best for identifying live hosts on a network without sending too much traffic? C. ARP scanning. When prioritizing targets in network sweeping, which factor should be considered most important? B. The operating system of the target. In route mapping, what does a prolonged response time from a hop indicate? A. Network congestion. Why is it important to consider false negatives in network sweeping? To ensure all potential vulnerabilities are identified. Which of the following is a common reason for false negatives when conducting a network sweep? D. Hosts using non-standard ports. What is the primary purpose of analysing the output from network mapping tools? B. Understanding the network topology. In network sweeping, what is a key indicator of a high-value target? C. Presence of outdated software. When is it most appropriate to use a stealthy scanning technique? B. To avoid detection by intrusion detection systems. What does a SYN flag indicate in a port scan result? B. Port is open. In a port scanning result, what does filtered status mean? C. Response is blocked by a firewall. When using a network sniffer, what does a high number of ARP requests suggest? C. Possible ARP spoofing attack. What is indicated by a closed port in a scan result? The port is actively rejecting connections. In network enumeration, what does a till value close to 128 or 64 in a ping response usually indicate? B. A Windows-based system. What is the primary purpose of using a port scanner? A. Network mapping. In a Wireshark capture, what might a large number of RIS packets indicate? C. An ongoing DOS attack. What does an ICMP destination unreachable message in a network sniffer output suggest? B. The host is offline or not reachable. When a port scanner returns OPIN filtered for a port, what does it imply? C. The scanner cannot determine if the port is open or filtered. In network sniffing, what does observing GS discover messages suggest? B. A device is requesting an IP address. When analyzing port scanner output, what does a consistent pattern of closed ports suggest about a network host? A. Host is actively rejecting connections. In a network sniffer log, you notice a high number of packets with a till value of 64. What type of operating system is likely running on the source machine? B. Linux Unix. During a network scan, you find a device that only responds to ping requests. What can this suggest about the device's configuration? D. It is configured for minimal network exposure. If a network enumeration tool reveals sequential open ports on a host, what does this likely indicate? B. Customize service setup. What does the presence of numerous SYN-ACK packets in a network sniffer log indicate? B. Successful establishment of connections. In a port scan result, what does a large number of open ports on a single host imply? C. Potential security risk. What inference can be made from a port scanner output showing most common ports closed, but several high-numbered ports open? A. Network uses non-standard service ports. A network sniffer captures packets mostly with destination port 443. What can be inferred about the network traffic? B. It is primarily web traffic, likely encrypted. If repetitive ICMP destination unreachable messages are observed in a network sniffing session, what does this indicate? C. A routing or address resolution issue. In port scan results, what does the identification of ports associated with a specific application, e.g. 8443 for a web server, suggest about a host? B. Specific network services are being hosted. What is the primary purpose of egress filtering in network security? B. Preventing data exfiltration. Ingress filtering is primarily used to C. Block unwanted incoming traffic. Which of the following is a risk associated with not implementing egress filtering? B. Data exfiltration. What role does ingress filtering play in mitigating those attacks? C. Reducing the impact of attack traffic. Egress filtering is beneficial for C. Controlling what data leaves a network. Which of the following best describes the importance of egress filtering in preventing data leaks? C. It restricts unauthorized data transmission. Ingress filtering is most effective in B. Restricting harmful incoming connections. A major risk of not implementing adequate ingress filtering is C. Exposure to external cyber threats. Egress filtering assists in C. Preventing unauthorized outbound traffic. The absence of ingress filtering can lead to C. Vulnerability to inbound attacks. How does egress filtering on specific ports, e.g., port for web traffic, prevent data exfiltration? B. By monitoring and controlling data leaving the network. Why is ingress filtering vital for ports vulnerable to spoofing attacks, e.g., port 53 for DNS? C. For preventing spoofing and poisoning attacks. How does egress filtering help in complying with data protection regulations, e.g., GDPR? B. By blocking unauthorized outbound data transfers. In what way does ingress filtering mitigate the risk of those attacks on application layer protocols? B. By filtering out excessive or malicious requests. What role does egress filtering play in preventing leakage of proprietary information? C. By monitoring and blocking unauthorized transmissions. How does ingress filtering on service ports, e.g., port 445 for SIM, protect against ransomware spread? C. By blocking unauthorized access and malicious payloads. What is the importance of egress filtering in maintaining secure VPN connections, e.g., filtering port 1194? C. By controlling and inspecting VPN traffic outflow. Why is ingress filtering critical for preventing injection attacks on database servers, e.g., port 3306 for MISCL? C. By blocking malicious requests and SQL injections. How does egress filtering support the prevention of internal phishing attempts, e.g., through email protocols? C. By monitoring and blocking suspicious email outflows. In what way does ingress filtering enhance the security of IT devices connected to the network? C. By blocking unauthorized access and data requests from unknown sources. What is the primary purpose of remote operating system fingerprinting? C. To determine the operating system of a remote host. Which technique is considered a passive approach to OS fingerprinting? B. Analyzing network traffic. In active OS fingerprinting, what is a common method used? B. Banner grabbing. What is a limitation of passive OS fingerprinting? C. It provides limited information compared to active methods. Which of the following is an advantage of active OS fingerprinting? B. It provides more detailed information. Why is OS fingerprinting important in cybersecurity? D. To identify system vulnerabilities. What is the result of a successful OS fingerprinting process? D. Understanding the OS type and version of the target. Which passive OS fingerprinting technique involves analysis of packet headers? B. Cynic analysis. Active OS fingerprinting can be detected by D. All of the above. What is a major risk associated with active OS fingerprinting? C. Potential network disruption. What is an indicator of an operating system in passive OS fingerprinting? A. Specific user agent strings into headers. During active OS fingerprinting, which technique is used to identify operating systems? B. Evaluating responses to malformed SPI packets. Which protocol's response is crucial for OS fingerprinting in a network using both active and passive methods? B. ICMP for error messaging. In passive OS fingerprinting, what aspect of SPI packets can indicate the operating system? B. Window size and options. What is a key difference in OS identification between active and passive fingerprinting? A. Active methods can cause network disruption. Why is OS fingerprinting important in network security? C. To identify potential vulnerabilities. How does active OS fingerprinting typically gather information? B. By sending packets and analyzing responses. Which passive fingerprinting technique might reveal an OS using Ds? B. B. Inspecting DSP discover messages. What is a potential risk of active OS fingerprinting on a network? B. Detection and logging by intrusion detection systems. In OS fingerprinting, what is the significance of analyzing SPI packets? C. They can indicate the OS type and version. What is the primary purpose of analyzing application banners in network security? B. To identify the type of server and application version. When encountering an unknown network application, what should be the initial step in the evaluation process? C. Gathering application banners. Which tool is most effective for determining server types and application versions from banners? D. Banner grabbing tool. What is a common risk associated with outdated application versions identified from banners? C. Unpatched security vulnerabilities. What kind of information is least likely to be obtained from application banners? C. Network topology. In evaluating unknown network applications, what is a key factor to consider? C. The application's response to unauthorized access attempts. How can application banners be misleading in network security analysis? D. They can be intentionally altered by administrators. What is a primary goal of evaluating responsive but unknown network applications? B. To identify potential security threats. Which aspect is least relevant when analysing application banners for security? B. The branding and logos in the banner. What is a potential drawback of relying solely on application banners for network security analysis? B. It may not reveal all active services on a server. Which method is most effective for identifying the operating system of a server based on its responses in a network? B. Fingerprinting. When an unknown application responds to a network request, what is a crucial next step for security analysis? B. Performing a banner grabbing. In a security context, why is it important to determine the version of a network application? C. To identify potential security vulnerabilities. What is a common security risk when a server displays detailed application banners? B. Exposure of sensitive operational data. How can network administrators mitigate the risks associated with detailed application banners? C. Customizing or disabling banner display. What is the primary purpose of evaluating responsive but unknown network applications in cybersecurity? B. Identifying potential security threats. Which technique is used to identify active services on a server without full reliance on application banners? B. Service enumeration. Why is it important to analyze the responses of network applications to unauthorized access attempts? C. To evaluate the robustness of security measures. In the context of unknown network applications, why is it crucial to perform version detection? C. To detect outdated and vulnerable software. What role does analyzing the time to live values in packets play in network security? C. It can indicate the type of operating system. Which of the following best describes the purpose of reviewing firewall rule bases in network security? B. Identifying and mitigating security vulnerabilities. When assessing network access control lists, what is the primary objective? C. To control network access based on policies. In firewall rule-based review, what does implicit deny principle refer to? B. Denying all traffic except what is explicitly allowed. Which of the following is a best practice when managing firewall rules? B. Regularly reviewing and updating rules. What should be prioritized in reviewing network access control lists for a business network? C. Ensuring alignment with security policies. When analyzing firewall rules, what is the significance of rule order? A. Determines the priority of rules. What is a key consideration when reviewing outbound traffic rules in a firewall? C. Monitoring for data exfiltration activities. How does reviewing network access control lists benefit incident response teams? B. By identifying potential entry points for attackers. What is the potential risk of not regularly reviewing firewall rule bases? C. Unidentified security vulnerabilities. In the context of firewall rule bases, what does rule shadowing refer to? B. A rule being overridden by a prior rule. What is the primary security concern when a firewall rule allows traffic over port 21 CB? C. Confidentiality. Which port should be closely monitored or restricted in firewall rules to prevent potential unencrypted remote administration? B. Port 23 Telnet. In the context of firewall rule reviews, why is it important to regulate traffic over port 53 DNs? D. To prevent DNs tunneling and poisoning attacks. When configuring a firewall, what is the main purpose of restricting access to port 445 SIM? How? To prevent unauthorized file sharing. Which protocol, commonly associated with port 161 UDP, should be carefully regulated in firewall rules due to its potential for revealing sensitive network information? B. SLAMP. What is the primary reason for controlling access to port 143 IMAP in firewall configurations? E. To secure email retrieval services. Why is it important to restrict access to port 3389 WordDB in firewall rule bases? I. To prevent remote desktop access exploits. In a firewall configuration, why should traffic through port 587 SMT be carefully regulated? B. To prevent unauthorized email relay. What is the main reason for a firewall to control traffic over port 1194, commonly used for fins? C. To secure virtual private network communications. In the context of firewall rules, why is it important to regulate access to port 5060 SIP? C. To prevent VoIP-related attacks. What is the main difference between encryption and encoding? C. Encryption requires a key, encoding does not. Which of these is a feature of symmetric encryption? C. Same key for encryption and decryption. What makes RSA different from D in terms of encryption? B. RSA uses longer key lengths. Which of the following is true about work? C. It's a symmetric stream cipher. What is a significant disadvantage of using it for hashing? C. It is susceptible to collision attacks. What is the primary purpose of MAC? B. To verify data integrity and authenticity. Which encryption algorithm is known for having 3 different key sizes? B. AS. Why is asymmetric encryption often considered more secure than symmetric encryption? C. It involves 2 separate keys for encryption and decryption. SHA is primarily used for which of the following purposes? C. Verifying data integrity. In the context of encryption algorithms, what does IDE stand for? A. Triple Data Encryption Standard. What block size does this use compared to D? B. 128-bit block size. In RSA encryption, what is the purpose of the Euler-Toschen function? C. To calculate the modular multiplicative inverse during key generation. Why is RIC considered less secure in modern cryptographic applications? E. Vulnerabilities in its key scheduling algorithm. What cryptographic concept does MAC rely on to provide message integrity and authentication? C. Hash functions. In IDES, how many keys are used when it is implemented in triple key mode? C. 3. Which algorithm is an example of an asymmetric key exchange mechanism? C. Diffie-Hellman. What is the primary difference between SHA-1 and hash functions in terms of output? The SHA-1 produces a 160-bit hash, WAND produces a 128-bit hash. What is the main reason for using a nonce in cryptographic communication? C. To prevent replay attacks. In symmetric encryption, what is the role of the initialization vector RIVE? B. To add randomness to the encryption process. Which property ensures that a small change in the plaintext results in a significantly different ciphertext in block ciphers like as? A. Diffusion. Which protocol provides secure remote access over an unsecured network? C. S. What is the primary purpose of SUL? C. Secure web transactions. Which of the following is a feature of IPsec? I. End-to-end encryption. PDB is primarily used for what purpose? B. Encrypting and signing emails. What is a major weakness of web encryption for wireless networks? C. Susceptibility to an attack. What was developed to address the shortcomings of which protocol? B. WEP. Which encryption protocol is used in PAY? CPSA. Uses which of the following for data confidentiality? B. Symmetric key encryption. What does IPsec use to establish mutual authentication between agents? D. All of the above. Which protocol provides integrity and confidentiality for data at rest? D. PCB. Which SUL's protocol mechanism helps in verifying the authenticity of the server certificate? B. Certificate authority co-validation. In IPsec, what is the role of an authentication header compared to ISP encapsulating security payload? B. Offers data integrity and authentication. Uses which cryptographic method to ensure confidentiality of the data transmitted over the network? C. Symmetric key encryption. Which algorithm was introduced in PAY to replace pre-shared keys in PAY for enhanced security? B. Simultaneous authentication of equals say. In PCB, what mechanism ensures the non-repudiation of an email? C. Digital signature. How does CELTELS use both symmetric and asymmetric cryptography in a typical session? B. Asymmetric for key exchange, symmetric for data encryption. What is the main difference between TKIP and as in wireless encryption? Outkip uses a stream cipher, while as uses a block cipher. What feature of S makes it suitable for tunneling other protocols? B. Its ability to carry arbitrary network traffic over an encrypted channel. In ipsiquibine, what is the purpose of a security association SA? Out to define the parameters for encrypting and authenticating a communication session. Which property of cryptographic hash functions is most crucial for ensuring data integrity in CPSA communications? D. Collision resistance. What does the X attribute represent in Unix file permissions? A. Execute permission. In Windows file systems, what is the significance of the read and execute permission? C. Allows file reading and execution. How does setting the setud bit on a Unix file affect security? B. Allows file execution as the file owner. In Windows, what does an ACL in the registry define? C. Permissions for users and groups. What Unix file permission attribute allows a user to enter a directory? C. Execute. How can the Windows full control permission impact security? D. It grants all permissions including modifying and deleting. Which Unix command changes file permissions? @shmed. In the context of Windows registry, what does inheritance refer to? A. Registry keys passing permissions to subkeys. What is the implication of the sticky bit in Unix file systems? B. Prevents unauthorized deletion of shared files. What is the primary purpose of analyzing registry ACAs in Windows? C. Controlling access to system resources. How does this protocol port 22 influence file permission security in Unix systems? C. It securely transfers files, maintaining original permissions. In Windows systems, what security implications does port 445 have on file permissions? C. It allows for network file sharing respecting permissions. What is the role of port 389 in managing Windows file system permissions? B. It manages user authentication for file access. How does NFS port 2049 affect file permissions in Unix systems? C. It allows network file sharing with Unix permissions. What is the security implication of using RTP port 3389 in relation to Windows file permissions? B. It maintains existing permissions when accessing files remotely. In Unix systems, how does the use of port 22 for remote access impact file permissions? B. It preserves existing file permissions. When using LDAP port 389 in a Windows environment, how are file permissions affected? C. LDAP respects the existing ACLs set on files. What impact does port 445 have on the Windows registry ACLs? C. SMP has no impact on registry ACLs. How does the use of INF's port 2049 in Unix systems relate to analyzing file permissions? C. NEFS maintains Unix file permissions for shared files. When using RDP port 3389 in a Windows environment, how is the analysis of registry ACLs affected? C. RDP has no impact on analyzing registry ACLs. Which command is used to list processes and their network sockets on Linux? B. LSUF. On a Windows system, which tool is best suited for assessing patch levels? B. Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer. Which Linux command is used to find files with specific permissions? C. Find. In the context of network security, what does the netstick command do? B. Lists active connections to from the system. How can one assess the patch levels of software in a Linux system? C. Using the DTC query command. Which command can be used to display the list of recently modified files in Unix Linux? A. lolsult. Which tool is most effective for finding sensitive information like passwords stored in plain text files on Windows? B. Windows Search. In network security, what is the primary purpose of using the PS command in Unix Linux? C. Listing currently running processes. What is the main advantage of using the find command in Unix Linux for locating files with specific criteria? B. It can list files meeting specific conditions. To verify whether a Linux system is up to date with security patches, which command should be used? And apt-get upgrade. Which command in Linux displays connections, OBI stream statistics, and the PIT of the program using the socket? B. Netstatuppeln. To find files modified in the last 24 hours in Unix Linux, which command should be used? B. Find. mheim1. In Windows, which PowerShell Cryptography is used to list all installed patches? At get hotfix. What is the main purpose of the trace command in Unix Linux? C. Tracing system calls and signals. Which tool in Windows is used to capture and analyze network packets? B. Wireshark. In Unix Linux, which command is used to display disk usage of each file and directory? B. Do. For remote process execution in Windows, which command line tool can be used? T. Sexic. Which Unix Linux command checks file system integrity and repairs file system data structures? BFSC. In network security, how can SPTMP be used effectively? C. For capturing and analyzing network packets. What is the function of the iptables L command in Unix Linux? C. Listing current iptables configuration.